My Hebrew brothers and sisters, the 12 tribes of Israel scattered all over the earth, let me take this moment to say, welcome back. This is your Moray, Dr. Yeshu, and we just want to take this moment to say thank you. Thank you again for your subscriptions. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for your comments. And thank you for your prayers. Thank you for everything you do to make this ministry a success. Praise His holy name. We're in Psalm 38, and we're dealing with in the title of this psalm, a man in pain praise. A man in pain praise. And we see how David was suffering. You see all of the thing that happened to him. And some of these things were his own doing. And he prayed and asked YAHUAH for cleansing. He asked YAHUAH to forgive him. And he was scared of YAHUAH's judgment. And so we can see that in verses 1 and 2 there. It shows, how he's penitent, and he didn't say ask YAHUAH not to punish him, not to rebuke him, but don't do it in his wrath or in his hot indignation. So in verse 3 here, we're starting out in verse 3, and my brothers and sisters, he said, there is no soundness in my flesh because of thine anger, neither is there any rest in my bones because of my sin. So here again, we see that David is taking some of the blame. Okay? What he's trying to say here, that YAHUAH is justified in rebuking him. YAHUAH is justified, in what he does, the action that YAHUAH takes towards him. That YAHUAH is justified. But he just don't want to fall into YAHUAH's hands when YAHUAH is upset. I don't know how we know when YAHUAH is going to not being upset. But if you're a friend of YAHUAH, then you got to have some kind of relationship and have some kind of inclination and know what's going on. Okay. I want us to look at my flesh there, because again the word flesh is basar. Basar. And it just plain don't write the word flesh. Okay. The Hebrew word there is bet, sin, and resh, basar. And what he's saying here, my brothers and sisters, when you talk about the flesh, is referring to the body. Okay. Sometimes he may be referring to the lean or the fatty part of the body. Sometimes we talk about the can. Sometimes mankind in general. Self, skin, thing like that. It may be referring to that. But the word comes from another Hebrew word, basar. It means flesh, from its freshness, by extension, the body or the person also. By you famous, we talk about the podenda of a man, or the body or the fat or lean or whatever. And so in some cases, you talk about nakedness, or self, or skin. Okay, so what he's saying here is that he's asking YAHUAH not to punish him, and then at this point, he's so weak that he said there is no soundness in his flesh. He is so penitent. The emotion, that kind of emotion there is really getting a grip of him. To the point where he feel like, well, I am everything is going bad. Everything is going crazy. I'm weak. You know, you know what I'm saying. Okay, but here is that because of Yahuwah's anger. Okay, there's no soundness in my flesh because of Yahuwah's anger. So he's experiencing some of the angers of Yahuwah. The word anger here is the same word we talked about a little earlier. Indignation come from a word za'am, okay, which is zayin, ayin, and mem. And what he's talking about here, my brothers and sisters, is plain down right indignation, angry when someone is angry. You know, when he's talking about rage, you know, anger and rage. My brothers and my sisters, I don't know if you've been around people that, you know, but angry. They have the rage, and you know, it's like a bull, right? You ever watch a bullfight? You know, with the bull coming in, and the man who has the what they call him can Visop, whatever you call his name, right? He stood up there in his sometimes red pants or sometimes white pants, and up the upper part of his clothing is sometimes white or red, and he's always with a vest, right? And this war, I can't call the name, but you know what I'm saying here. But he stood up, right, and he have this thing, and every time the bull is coming at him, he hold the thing and he just cannot go aside and let the bull you know, just pass by him and spin around, and the bull is coming back again, and he just have this thing, and he just, you know, and the more the bull misses him, is the more angry the bull gets, until he took his sword and or whatever that weapon that he had, and he just stick it, just throw it and get the bull in sometime near to his neck, and I guess he poisoned the bull, already paralyzed him, and he just fell to the knee. But I'm telling you, my brothers and my sisters, rage is not an easy thing. Convisca gore, or what they call it, you know, whatever. But you know, this man, he you know, and so David knows, he understands what indignation is, right? He knows, you know. But this is something that Yahuwah abhor from us too. That he don't want us to get into that kind of a, you know, condition. But Yahuwah displeasure, his displeasure over sin and anything negative that we, his children, are involved in. He doesn't want us to do that. He wants us to stay away from it. And these you know, abominable things, my brothers and my sisters, that thing that will let Yahuwah get angry, you know. Because what happened is that he tells us to stay away from it. And then at the same time, you know, we are defying him, you know. You know, we are defying. And when we defy him, we experience indignation, right? We experience indignation. All right. So the primitive root here means to foam at the mouth. When a person is mad, they foam at the mouth. You know, and we didn't say Yahweh is foaming at his mouth, but the very fact that these words are here to at least illustrate, you know, to illustrate how he looks at negative things, how he looks at sin something like that, that he will be enraged. Remember when he was leading our ancestors out of Egypt in the promised land, to the promised land, when they were in the Sinai desert? All the things that they did to make Yahuwah angry. All the things. And you could tell so many times when he was really displeased, he tell Moses, said, these are your people, your people, And then the same thing Moses, when Moses get really mad, and I mean, he was wrathful, then he said to Yahuwah, these are your children, these are your people. So, we don't want to get to the point where we are involved in doing abominable thing. Okay? So, he said there's no soundness in his flesh because, of Yahuwah's anger, because of Yahuwah's indignation. And he said, listen to this, neither there is any rest in my bones. Neither there is any rest in my bones. Why? Because of his sin. You see, David has always been running, right? Running from, he was running from his family member, if you remember his son, Absalom, right? Then he was running all the time. He was running from Saul, King Saul. You remember? And so, he's tired. He is tired. His bones are tired. And then he's getting to the age where, he's not really, really young anymore. There's an old saying that when you get over 30, you start going downhill. Well, my brothers and sisters, I don't know, because I've seen a lot of people who are in the hundreds, and they're moving around briskly, things like that. But here he said, there is no soundness in my flesh. Why? Because of Yahuwah's anger. Neither is there any rest in my bones because of my sin. His bone here is a word that he used, Hebrew word estem, etstem, and it is Aleph, Sade, and Mem, estem, and when he talk about bone here, he's talking about like the substance, the self, and body, the bone, life, it is a strength, and it comes from another word, atsam, mean a bone, or by extension, you talk about the body, figuratively, the substance, that is, the body, bone, and so on, the self. The same as strength. Okay? And sometimes when the bone is broken, even though it is, that part of it is closed, where you can feel certain kind of pressure in your position. You can't hardly stand up, you can't run, because it's something being broken, even though it's healed to the point where you can walk around, But what he's trying to say is, you want to be great. You want to increase, made more, Jeremiah said, I feel like, something shut up within my bone. Okay? So you can feel that. Something, you can bind, something fast. Bind it fast, or to close, or, to demonstrate that, you know, the power that Yahweh give you in your body. Sometimes it even get weak. So this is one of the reasons why I said we have to take care of it. You know, we have to take care of it. He made it powerful, you know, in numerous, you know, demonstration of this word here. But STEM, my brothers and my sisters, is like, sometimes people say, I feel like my bone is crunch, you know. Sometimes they say, I feel like I have a broken bone, you know. Sometimes they say, I can do all things through Yahuwah, who strengthen me. You feel strong, like the bone is active, everything is working good, you know, and you feel great. Be great. You're increasing, you know. You're increasing might, you know. And so, my brothers and my sisters, we know that David has this feeling. And this feeling was real. It's not something that he made up. It's something that was real. There is no soundness, he said, in my flesh because of Yahuwah's anger. There is no rest in my bone because of my sin. Now, I want us to look at the word, because David is owning up to his fault. You know, he's owning up to his fault. You know, there's one thing I noticed about David. If you remember, when it was around the prophet, like Samuel, and when he confronted him with something, he changed. He realized and changed. Excuse me. It's the same with Nathan. If you remember, when David committed adultery with, you know, Bathsheba, Nathan the prophet knew about it. And you remember the story that Nathan said to him? Nathan came to him and said about a man, you know, this man has a ewe. And this rich king, this man, went and took the one ewe from the man. That's the only thing the man had. And somebody that had more wealth, had more power, you know, had more well-to-do, you know. He's, you know, come on to this man. And he thought for sure it was, the story was being like a man who steals somebody's goat, like just, not him realize that it was him. And when David said, man, a person like that should be punished. He should be punished. And, you know, Nathan listened to him keenly. And Nathan said, thou art that man. This is where he said, he rather fall into the hand of Yahuwah than to fall into the hand of his fellow man. So, the word sin here is kata'a. Kata'a. It is ket. It is chet. Tav. No, not tav, but tet. Tet. It is chet, stet, aleph, and he. Kata'a. And what it's saying here is talk about a sinful thing. It's talk about sin. And the punishment for sin. Then not only there's a punishment of sin, but here, my brother and sister, there is a purification for sin. And there's an offering for sin. You remember, yeah, people have to offer sin offering, right? On a regular basis. Especially the scapegoat once a year. Praise be to Yahuwah, that Yahushua came and he offered himself as that sacrificial lamb. And that helped to make us reconcile to him. Praise his holy name. We are been reconciled to him. We have been, it is a purification for sin. You know, the sin offering, Yahweh gave himself as the sin offering through his son, Yahushua. And so, my brother, here we see then that this kata'a, okay, is basically have the connotation, you know, as to bear the blame or to cleanse out the person who's committing sin by fault, my brother and sister, you know, harm he had done and caused loss, right? But, my brothers and sisters, this sin also means to miss the mark. To miss the mark. You know, you miss the mark. You have gone out of the way. You're forfeited the things that was good and righteous, and you forfeited that, you know, for living a sinful life, that you've gone out of the way. Well, my brother, my sister, let me say this, that Yahuwah wants us. He wants us, my brothers and sisters, to be just like David. You know, come to him and pour out our hearts to him and show him that, Yahuwah, I have sinned, I have gone out of the way. I'm asking you to purge me, to purify me, to make me, to, you know, we need to reconcile to Yahuwah. We need to reconcile to him because of the fact that we have trespassed against him, right? And anytime we do something in wrong, we trespass against him. We miss the mark. We've sinned. And we need to come back to Yahuwah. Praise be to his holy name. And so, my brothers and sisters, we're going to stop here. And we're going to ask you to be a blessing to someone today and walk with the King. Shalom.